Hello, everyone. I'm Michael O'Kane, obviously from the New Zealand Bullion Depository, and I'd like to welcome tonight, his this morning, Ronnie Sturfley of Incrementum, one of the great team behind the In Gold We Trust report. This is the 15th year for the report. It is 15, isn't it, Ronnie? I'm making sure I get this right.
It is.
Yeah, I've only been reading it for about 10 years, so I don't have all of them. And I'm pleased to say that New Zealand Bullion Depository has been a proud partner sponsor for the last 2 editions. And I'm looking forward to the next ones. As Ronnie's just mentioned, he's already writing 2022. So any hints and tips that we can come up with, we'll pass them through to you now. Ronnie, I'd just like to ask, how are you today and how are things going at the moment?
Thanks, Michael. Good to see you. Over here, it's summer, as you can perhaps see. On your end, it's it's winter, but it's a different winter. So
Yeah.
Over here when it's winter, it's we've got lots of snow and it's really cold. But I feel for you. But
thank you. Thanks. I'm coming over tomorrow for some warmth.
You're most welcome.
Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah. I'm going to start with some questions because I think that's probably the best way to get an idea of what the report contains this year. And the first one I've got, the sentence actually tickles my fancy. It's one that I never thought thought I would say, and something I probably wouldn't understand what it was about 2 years ago. But can I SPAC my stonks with NFTs? Which may mean nothing to about half of the population probably doesn't know what any of that means. But I'm boiling it down a little bit into everything at the moment feels like it's in a bubble. And I'm bringing up some examples here. Lumber, so timber for those of us that speak English, Bitcoin, NFTs, SPACs, GME, silver, for example. So what I want to know is, this to me feels like it's almost a repeat of the dot-com boom, and we all remember the 2000s dot-com boom. I was wondering, how has this exuberance in the other markets affected the gold markets at the moment?
Well, it clearly feels a bit like the dot-com boom. I tweeted out a very interesting chart today that basically said, well, screw margin debt. Retail investors are now taking out personal loans to trade stocks. So from my point of view, this is not going to end well. And I mean, let's face it, compared to the end of the 1990s, we are at significantly higher levels. Back then, M2, for example, was 4.6 trillion. Now it's 20 trillion. The Federal Reserve's balance sheet back then was 700 billion. Now it's 8 trillion. The S&P back then was 1,500. Now it's 4,800. So obviously, I think the levels are frightening. But on the other hand, there's this big safety net by the Federal Reserve, and I just wonder, because now everybody is so scared about this very, very hawkish path that the Federal Reserve has now taken. I just wonder when they will start their U-turn. Is it going to be 5 or 10% in the S&P? So basically, from my point of view, all those phenomena, like those bubbles in some of the commodity markets, in the equity space, in the real estate space, are only a function of interest rates and only a function of monetary policy. And I think with debt levels now being so significantly higher than before the COVID crisis, I think that a U-turn in interest rate policy is more unlikely than ever. So we write in the report, before we really see significantly higher positive real rates, a Dutchman will probably win the downhill race in Kitzbühel. So I just don't see it, and therefore I think this is also one of the main cases, or let's say that the main foundation of the bull market in gold it is negative real rates are here basically are here to stay, and I just don't see any way that we will see a big reversal of monetary policy.
No, and I think that's pretty much a guarantee, and I think most people are on the same page here. It's just how do you turn it around once you've gone so far down that road? Things aren't likely to change, at least not in the time I can imagine.